Welcome to another edition of GW Unspoken, and thank you very much for joining in no matter where you may be. And hopefully the show will have something to do with you and make some significant difference and question how you're going with your connections. And tonight's all about the connections. And on GW Spoken, we always talk about the stuff that we don't typically talk about, but probably should. So what is it that means connection for you? How would you define it? How would you explain it? How does it feel like, look like, sound like? What are the things that help you connect to the outside world? Did you know that they've now done a study where most teenagers who use mobile devices, and maybe even people who are older than that now or even younger than that now, are saying that around 70, 75 likes is where the dopamine hits of saying, yep, that photo was worthwhile, I'm accepted now, and I feel good about myself. It's crazy. It is not a real connection. Are those people going to be true friends for you when the chips are down? Who are your people in your life that give you true connection? And I want to question that while you're listening to this. Who are the people in your inner circle who would be there for you when you need? And isn't it amazing how so many times we can have people who are with us or for us when the chips are down? Flash flooding is probably a big one that shows no matter what color we are, what race we are, what gender we are, people will come from all over the place to just help when there's floods, when we know there's danger and the chips are down. And that's what makes us an amazing human race. So what about day-to-day connection? What are some of the things that actually give you a proper connection, not like the ones we have typically on technology? What are the things in a healthy team? I know in our family we have this crazy ritual, and people are going to think we're absolutely crazy, but there's every single month we do pinch punch first of the month. So between my mum, two sisters and wife, and now the kids, we'll go pinch punch first month. So crazily obsessed that sometimes at 11:59, the night before, say the 31st of October, Gary will set his alarm, and as soon as it ticks over 12, I'll have a text message ready to go to mum and my sisters who might be living in Harvey Bay or Sunshine Coast somewhere, and they'll get that message. And at 5:30 when they wake up, go, what the hell were you doing up at that time? And rather than me saying, well, I was working, I actually say, just to get you. And it's hilarious. Even when the kids wake up and one of us forget, or if they forget, a pinch punch first a month is full on. And it's just a fun little thing that brings connection in our group. What are some other things for you? I know right now that when we take our dogs to the dog park, there is an old lady who comes there virtually every day, and she's there just for connection. I don't know what's happening in life. I don't know whether she's got a partner or a husband or anything like that, but I do know that she's there by herself. She says hello, she has a smile on her face, she greets, has a little bit of chit-chat, and she's there just to pat the other dogs. She doesn't bring her own dog at all, but it makes her feel connected. It makes her feel like there is a community. There's common values in that place at that time. What is it for you? Is it a coffee shop? Do you go to a regular coffee shop where you suddenly meet the same person behind the bar there and they talk about you and you know about them a little bit and you feel like you're part of something? You feel connected. So what is connection? Well, I think a really good term for our kids, especially growing up these days, and even for ourselves, is the analogy of belonging versus acceptance. And belonging means that people will take us on board in a social setting, in a social group, regardless of our flaws. Acceptance is where we modify our behaviours to fit in. And unfortunately, during the teenage ages, we know that the most important thing for them is their peers. And so they'll often change who they are and how they act just to be accepted. And I think that gives them a mental battle already. We know that our mental health has gone through the roof with the negativity with, body dysmorphia and even going so far as eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia has always been around. Anorexia athletica with loving exercise and maybe exercising too much. We know anxiety, depression, all those things have had a massive bearing, especially on our teenagers these days. And I think it's a lot to do with acceptance of just trying to fit in. Maybe that's a mental battle for them. So whereabouts in your group of friends right now can you belong? Where can you belong with all of your vulnerabilities and people accept you for who you are? I think another good one too we talk about is even at work. Like I saw one of my bosses once say, rapport is a real pedagogy. The real art of teaching is building rapport first. Man, I wish that was at the top of the list of every single school, of every single workplace, because we know connection is key. And if we can have that rapport, people will be wanting to show up, be valued, and feel like they're doing extra work for free because they are part of a great good for someone else, bigger than themselves. I want you to think about this. I really want you to think about who is your close connectors. Who are the ones that make you feel like you're part of a community? Someone usually who has shared values in that organization. somewhere where you actually can talk and you feel like you're part of something bigger. I want you to leave you with a couple of books. Love Languages by Gary Chapman, massive game changer for me to how to get along with other people. There's a quiz there you can do. There's one for younger kids, there's one for teens, there's one for older people. You can do it in the workforce. It's a game changer. You find out what yours is, you find out what someone else is, and it can actually build that relationship. Personality Plus by Florence Littauer, unbelievable. Talks about the 4 different personality styles we might have and what the pros and I suppose negatives or challenges are for each one of those, but also how we can get along with somebody else based on what their personality trait is. And the kicker for me was, I'll never forget this at work, one of the schools I was at. One of my close mates actually said, "Hey, Woody, you should read this book. Even you could read a book like this." And I'm like, hello, that's a bit pointed. And like, no, you'll love it. And I said, look, I don't read books. Obviously too cool for books. I don't read books. I actually get Inside Sport magazine and Men's Health and, get the newspaper on a Sunday, back pages to look at sport. That's all I'm about. They said, no, honestly, I think you'll love it and definitely you need it. Oh, what the hell is it? What does that mean, I need it? And here's the title, Skills with People. Punch in the face. Okay, read it. Absolute game changer. Thought, oh my gosh, there's so much for me to work on just to make sure my connections are real and they're correct and they're respectful. I challenge you to either look at these YouTube clips, maybe tune into a podcast where you can hear other people talking about these books, or maybe there's something you can just get them and watch just a quick blurb on them because they are complete game changers. I hope you're part of something bigger where you connect to a greater good within a community. Connection is key. Human connection is the greatest key you can have. Thank you for joining us.